All right, so today we're doing something a little different. We're going to put reality itself on trial. We're launching a full-on philosophical investigation into one of the biggest, oldest questions out there. How can we be sure that anything we see, touch, and feel is actually, real? Let's get into it.
I mean, seriously, just take a second and look around you. Right now. That screen you're looking at, the chair you're probably sitting in, the air you're breathing, how do you know with 100% absolute certainty that any of it truly exists outside of your own head? It's a pretty wild thought, isn't it? That everything you know, everyone you love, might just be part of a super elaborate dream that your own mind is cooking up. And look, this isn't just some plot from a sci-fi movie. It's a genuine philosophical puzzle. And the stakes? Well, they're about as high as they can get.
The philosopher Bertrand Russell just nails it with this quote. He says, if we can't prove the world is real, it's not just about the objects around us vanishing. It means other people aren't real either. We would be completely, terrifyingly alone. That desert he's talking about, that's the ultimate isolation.
And this really scary idea, it actually has a name, solipsism. It's the most extreme skeptical position you can take. And while we can't technically prove it's false, our whole investigation today is about building a really strong case against it. So where do we even start looking for clues?
Well, our investigation kicks off with our very first clue, and our first philosophical detective, René Descartes. His idea was pretty radical. To find what's true, he said, you first have to doubt absolutely everything.
His method was just brilliant. Okay, so first, he says, imagine there's this powerful, deceitful demon whose whole job is to create a massive illusion, to trick your eyes, your ears, all your senses. So with that in mind, he doubts the physical world. He even doubts his own body. But then he hits a dead end. He realizes the one thing he absolutely can't doubt is the fact that he is doubting. I mean, the very act of being tricked proves that there's something there to be tricked in the first place. And this leads him to maybe the most famous line in all of philosophy, cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Boom, he'd found it. His first piece of solid ground. A thinking thing, a consciousness, has to exist. This is the first critical piece of evidence in our case for reality.
But hang on a second. Is that it? Case closed? Not so fast. Our chief investigator on this case, Bertrand Russell, comes along and says, whoa, hold on, Descartes. You might have jumped the gun a little bit with that conclusion.
Okay, so here's the key difference. Descartes claimed he'd proven a permanent, lasting I, a self. Russell, he refines this. He argues, look, we can't be sure of a permanent self. We can only be sure of the experience itself, right in this moment. We know for sure a thought is happening or a brown color is being seen. That experience is undeniable. But the I who is having it, that's an assumption that's just as hard to prove as the table itself. So we're left with just one tiny certainty, our own immediate experiences. How in the world do we build a bridge from that to the outside world?
Well, this brings us to the first piece of hard evidence in Russell's case. We're going to call it Exhibit A, the dinner party.
So, picture the scene. 10 people.
Imagine these 10 people sitting around a big dinner table. You go to each one and ask them what they see. And guess what? They all describe a pretty similar table, plates, and silverware. Now, their descriptions aren't going to be identical, right? They're all seeing it from different angles, the light hits it differently for each of them, but they're all remarkably consistent.
And this leads us to a huge question. What's more likely? That 10 separate people are, by some miracle, having the exact same synchronized dream about a table? Or is it that there's one single, real, public neutral object, the table itself, that's causing all of their similar private sensations? You got to admit, that shared experience is pretty powerful evidence.
Okay, now for Russell's second piece of evidence. This one is all about a simple but powerful idea. What's the simplest explanation? Let's call this one Exhibit B, the case of the hungry cat.
So check out this timeline. At 1 o'clock, you see your cat chilling on the sofa. Then, at 1:01, you look down at your phone. Now, if the cat only exists as your sense data, the colors and shapes in your private experience, then in that moment, poof, it's gone. It just ceases to exist. A few minutes later, you look up, and now the cat's all the way across the room by its food ball, meowing because it's hungry.
See the problem? If the cat literally didn't exist when you weren't looking at it, how did it get from the sofa to the bowl? How did it develop the biological feeling of hunger while it was, for all intents and purposes, just nothing? It makes absolutely no sense.
The conclusion here is pretty clear. The simplest explanation, the one that doesn't require us to believe in teleporting cats that pop in and out of existence, is that a real physical cat exists all the time, follows the laws of physics, and yeah, it gets hungry on its own schedule, whether you happen to be looking at it or not.
So we've reviewed the clues, from doubting everything to the dinner party to the hungry cat. After all that, what's the final verdict in our case for reality?
And here it is. The honest, maybe slightly unsatisfying answer is no. We can't actually prove with 100% logical certainty that the external world is real. That solipsist's dream scenario, we can't definitively prove it wrong.
So, if we can't prove it, why does literally no one on Earth actually live their life like a solipsist? Russell's answer is that our belief isn't based on proof. It's based on something way more fundamental. We have an instinctive belief in the reality of the world. It's just a powerful gut feeling that we're all born with.
So let's quickly recap the evidence from our investigation. We started with systematic doubt, which gave us our one fixed point, our own private sense data. Then we argued that a public neutral object is the best explanation for why we all see similar things. The principle of simplicity showed us that a world made of matter is a much better theory than a complicated dream. And finally, we saw that this whole case is built on a foundation of instinctive belief.
And this really shows what Russell thought philosophy was all about. Its job isn't to give us absolute proof for the things we already believe in our gut. Its job is to take those powerful instincts, look at them closely, and organize them into a coherent, logical system that helps us make sense of the world and our place in it.
So I'll leave you with this question. Think about it. Beyond the existence of the world itself, what other unprovable instinctive beliefs do you bet your life on every single day? Maybe your trust in other people, your sense of purpose, or even just your belief that the sun will rise tomorrow. How much of what you hold to be true rests not on proof, but just on instinct? The investigation continues.